What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ty, behind the camera from Ty Drives, and sitting in front of us is the very cool all-new 2024 Fiat 500e, and we're going to be taking a look at all the features this vehicle has to offer. Some very neat features and quirky features on this car. We're going to start off on the exterior, kind of take a look at all of the lighting elements, all of the features on the outside, the wheels, all that good stuff. We'll then take a look at the charging door and also open up the hood to kind of detail all of the mechanical bits. We'll take a look at the trunk, the rear seats, and all the tech up front in the driver's seat. Let's get straight into it with our headlamps. Now, it is a full LED system. Now, some pretty cool use of daytime running lights here. Of course, everything is LED, so up top, we can see we have that circular headlight unit with the high and low beams and a projector bulb. Then we also have the LED daytime running lights going around the headlights and even up into the hood, so that's a pretty cool lighting element there. We even have more daytime running lights down below in this circular unit, and that will also double as your turn signal. So again, everything LED up front for your lighting. Looks very cool, and I really like the circular design. Now, the 500e, as the name suggests, is a full electric vehicle, so completely battery electric, no gasoline involved. So we have a pretty much closed off front face. So we do have a little bit of air inlets down below, but a pretty much closed off front fascia, but with the classic 500 logo right in the center. Parking sensors do adorn the front bumper, even on the side, which is pretty awesome. And we have this cool little fin right here, which is kind of used for your side turn signals, and it's got the Italian flag right in there. Our wheels is very unique 17-inch design with some glossy black accents and also machine face to the wheel. And we're working with 205/40 section tires. Take a look at the chrome down the side, very nice. Goes from that LED turn signal indicator all the way to the back of the vehicle. And there's also chrome up and around the windows. That's pretty neat. Lots of chrome accents on the outside of this vehicle to make it just a little bit more classy than just kind of blacked out accents. Now our door handles are pretty interesting because we have not only the smart key entry with this little button right here, so you can lock the vehicle with that, but if you put your hand right up here, you'll feel a little rubber pad, and that's actually an electronic release for your door handles, so that's pretty neat. Taking a flip around to check out our mirrors, they do have blind spot warning indicators. And a pretty cool little feature on the outside is this little chrome panel that says La Prima 500e, so the new 500e. You do have a little spoiler back here at the top of the hatch with your third brake light and a nice little shark fin antenna. Taking a look down here at our taillights, they are all LED just to match the front. So we have LED turn signals, taillights, and brake lights. Looks pretty good, all illuminated. And taking a further step back, we do have parking sensors for the rear too. And as you can see, it's at the very edge of the bumper on the front too, which gives this kind of side parking sensors pretty cool. At the very bottom of the bumper, you can see we have our reverse lights, one to either side, and one central light. That's actually for your rear fog lights. And just below the classy Fiat emblem, we have our reversing camera, trunk release, and we also have a little blue accented Fiat 500e logo. Now, before we get any further, I kind of wanted to detail the kind of trim levels that this vehicle comes in. There's 4 of them. Now, the one that kind of everybody has seen is the Inspired trim. So it's kind of a red accented trim for the 500e. It'll come in white, also black, or red, but all with red accents. Now, this one is the Inspired by Music. So each trim level has their own kind of color scheme. The Inspired by Music will only come in this tuxedo black trim, tuxedo black paint with chrome trim, and then a cream inside. We also have the Inspired by Beauty trim, which has a kind of rose gold color on the outside, and one more Inspired by Los Angeles, which kind of has this kind of baby blue exterior, which is really neat the way they set up these trims. And before we go any further, I'd like to give a huge thanks to Valenti Fiat in Hartford, Connecticut for allowing me access to this very cool car. And what do you guys think of the styling on the outside? I personally think this car is awesome. Let me know in the comments. I'm sure before we go any further, you're wondering about how many miles can you drive with the 500e? And that simple answer is 141 miles, up to 141 miles on a single charge. As you can see inside the charging port, you do have the fast charging plug there and your charging indicators, which will light up and show you what kind of state of charge you're at. Now, one more thing I'm sure you're wondering is pricing. Now, the only optional package on this car is the Inspired by Music package. That's $3,500 bucks. Definitely worth it in my opinion. After a $1,595 destination charge, you're at a total tab of $37,595. So, what does it look like under the hood of the 500e? Well, have a look for yourself. We do have a lot of electrical components under there and orange wiring, which you probably shouldn't be touching. But as far as the whole powertrain goes, we do have one single electric motor up front, making this front wheel drive, and it comes paired up with a 42 kilowatt battery, good for 117 horsepower, 162 pound-feet of torque, and that is all hooked up to a single speed transmission. Pretty good power figures for a car of this size, if you ask me. And take a look at that. The hood is held up by struts. Let's take a quick peek at the trunk on the 500e using the little popper right next to the backup camera. And if you lift it up about a quarter away, the struts will take over and lift it up the rest of the way for you. And you have a huge opening to get stuff in. Now, once the door is open, you don't have a whole lot of space, but given the size of this vehicle, it is actually pretty impressive. The rear seats will also fold down at a 50-50 split with these little buttons right here. You can fold it down like so. If the front seat was kind of far enough forward, you can fold that down flat. If you were to stick somebody in the back, you can also lift up the headrests for them. You can also remove this kind of privacy shade for taller items. And you also have lighting on the driver's side and a nice carpeting back here. Once you're done in the trunk, you have this little grab tether, and you could pull it right on down, nice and easy. Okay, so taking our first glance at the interior of the Fiat 500e, let's take a look at the door panel. You can see the very cool looking cream colored vegan leather interior on this Inspired by Music trim. Very cool looking color combination. The seats are even cooler. Taking a look at the materials up here, we do have nice soft to the touch up here, and as you go towards the bottom it does get hard to the touch, but nice amount of storage. I mean, take a look at the size of this door. It's huge. This is a huge door. We do have a little door grab in here that has this cool little old school Fiat 500 in there. It says made in Torino, and we do have the electronic door release. Pretty cool. You just press that and your door will open right up. We have our two window controls, mirror adjustments, and one of 7 JBL speakers. So you have to have a good speaker system in a car that is trimmed. Name is Inspired by Music, and this certainly does. Lots and lots of adjustments on the audio system. We'll get into that in just a minute. And in case you're wondering what this little red button is right here, that's in case the battery dies and the electronic door release doesn't work. You can just pull that up, and that's a mechanical release. Now let's take a look at the rear seats before we go any further. And you can kind of access the rear seats by this little pull handle. As you can see, not the largest space back here, but you can definitely fit some smaller humans in a pinch, or maybe even a furry friend. As you can see, the leather, the vegan leather has the Fiat kind of logo stamped in the leather. That's pretty cool. You have some speakers back here and armrests, as well as a cup holder. And take a look at the driver's seat. Very cool. It's got the little Fiat 500 logo in it. Very, very real feeling vegan leather. It's also got some piping. Again, Fiat spelled out in the seats, or I should say stitched out in the seats. And the driver's seat is 6-way adjustable. So you have the backrest, your height and the back and forth of this little bar right here. Now on the left of the dash, we have this pretty cool kind of pattern, like this cloth weave. Very, very neat. We have an air vent. We also have our quick array of buttons here for your gauge dimmers, a rear fog light, and then also to turn on and off your traction control and the parking sensors. Now down here you can see the lever for the tilt telescoping steering wheel a little bit better, and we also have our pedals down here with our hood release up under the dash. Pretty cool little metal sill tray there too. What do you say we hop in and check out all of this stuff? Now that we are seated inside the 500e, you can really see this kind of dashboard that is just totally out of this world and really, really cool looking. You kind of have this oval design that goes all the way around, and even the steering wheel kind of has this two-spoke design. It's just a really, really cool designed interior. Now let's take a look at the key, where we have some functionality. So unlock, lock, trunk release, and panic alarm. If you switch it over, you have the 500 logo, and the key is an oval too. So that's pretty cool. We do have a start button right behind the steering wheel, and what you want to do is you want to tap it once, and that will kind of put the ignition into the run position, and then you tap it twice to kind of drive it. Or I should say, that will put it in the first tap, will put it onto the on position, so all the electronics will fire up, and then the second tap of the start button will put it onto the run, so you can start shifting gears and driving the vehicle. So kind of a two-step, two-tap process to get this car going. But other than that, let's take a look at this very quirky interior. Now look at this steering wheel. Very nicely smooth leather wrapped with the kind of ivory or cream colored leather on the outside. Again, two spokes, looks very, very cool, in a flat bottom design here. Glossy buttons. We have all the controls up here for our digital gauges. We also have the Bluetooth controls and voice commands. Nice little airbag cover with the 500 logo. And then we also have our adaptive cruise control settings over here on all of these kind of buttons right there. Now behind the steering wheel, we have some hidden controls for your audio volume on this side and your preset adjustment on the other side. So pretty cool. Now behind the steering wheel, we have a couple of stalks, of course, for your headlights. You're also your high beams, which are automatic, and your lane keeping assist, which you can turn on and off. And on the other side, we have our front and rear wipers. Now, very, very neat little digital gauges up here. Lots of customability going on here. And again, we're going to use these arrows plus the OK button to adjust what we see. Now, this is kind of your standard screen here with your speedometer right over here. Also, digital speedometer and the kind of speed limit with the vehicle you're, or the road that you're currently on. We have what gear we're in for our transmission. Also your lane keeping assist visual right there, battery percentages and distance till empty battery. You also have a exterior temperature down there at the bottom, your total mileage or your odometer, and then a kind of power and charge screen right there. So pretty cool kind of home menu. Now if you go down, we have a kind of alternative right here with a larger charge and power screen right there. So that's pretty cool. And if we move back and forth, we have a bunch of different options here. So our trip settings, trip A and trip B. Moving over, we have our kind of driver's assistance screen, which is very cool and helpful. We have our vehicle information, so tire pressures and your service information. We also have an audio screen, navigation screen, also some messages, information, and tutorial screen, which is pretty cool. And also a couple different settings that you can go through. So very, very neat digital gauge setup. That's really cool. I like that. Take a look up here. We do have our dashboard up here with our branded JBL speakers, tweeter speakers to either side, and there's also a center channel speaker. And that brings me down to this very cool touchscreen. So definitely big enough for this vehicle. Nice and wide, kind of widescreen display. And very, very easy to get used to. So this is kind of your home screen here. It'll kind of show you your audio and your navigation. By the way, this car does have built-in navigation, so no need to plug in for CarPlay or Android Auto, which, by the way, this does have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto to get navigation, so it's built in. If we move over to the next screen in your home screen, it'll kind of show you some EV related functionalities here, so kind of your power and battery percentages, and also it'll kind of give you an estimated charge time, which is very cool. So you can see fast charge 28 minutes to 100%. If we do kind of like a 240 volt home charger, only 2 hours, which isn't too bad. And moving over, you can also see that you can add screens to your home screen. Pretty cool. Now we do have shortcuts to this side for all of your different menus. Let's click on media, see what it looks like. We have what's playing right in the center, your presets at the very bottom, changing your different channels. You can also type in a channel number right there for the direct tune. You can click on your sources, so you can switch between Sirius XM, FM, Bluetooth, all that good stuff. We have a browse functionality and the audio settings. This is one thing I definitely wanted to show you guys, because in the Inspired by Music, you have a couple of different presets for the audio. So we kind of have a couple of different inspired kind of sound settings. So my open air arena, my music room, recording studio, opera house. So that is a very cool kind of adjustability that no other Trimo will have except for the Inspired by Music. So that's pretty cool. In addition to that, you have all of your regular audio adjustments, so balance, fade, equalizer, all that good stuff. Now we also have our comfort menu, which has to do mainly with your climate control and whatnot. So we have temperature over here, your heated seats to either side, as you can see, where you want the air to blow, AC and defroster settings, and at the very bottom you have your fan speed. We also have our built-in navigation, which has a very nice looking map, and you can also press it 2D and 3D, which is pretty cool. And then you can also search up for your destinations right there. We also have a phone screen and a vehicle screen, which is a couple of cool things in this that I wanted to show you. So kind of what's going on, what's using the power right now, so the actual propulsion motor or your climate control, that's pretty cool. We do have some driving history, schedules for charging and things like that, and your charging level. So we also have some controls, which we could turn the screen on and off, and a whole host of settings. That's pretty much it with this screen here. I definitely like the setup and the ease of use. You can also click up top to kind of get all your different apps, which is pretty cool. Your profiles, any kind of different reminders or settings. And you can also swipe from the top to get various shortcut controls, so that's pretty cool. And again, wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, which is awesome. Now, just below the screen, we do have a couple of buttons here for your hazards, as well as the lock unlock for your doors. And take a look at that. Just below, we have a full array of climate controls. So temperature, fan speed, where you want the air to blow right in the middle, our defrosters, inside air or recirculating, or I guess outside air too, and then also the automatic function. Now right down here is kind of like your phone box. So you have wireless charging right down here and a USB. And we also have our gear selector down here. So they're all buttons. You can see we're in park right now, and if we switch over to reverse, our backup camera pops up with guidance lines. You can also see the parking sensors visual up there in your driver's display. We of course have neutral and drive right down there. Now right down here we kind of have this all open area, almost like this, if this thing were to have bench seats, it's kind of all open. So if you needed to switch over the passenger seat real quick or vice versa, it'd be really easy. You don't have to hop over anything, so that's pretty cool. Nice airy feeling inside. Now we can even release this little kind of hidden area here to reveal a cup holder. That's pretty cool. And a couple of switches down here for your driving mode. So a couple different driving modes, and we could pop that up right over here on our screen. So we have normal, range, which increases your kind of regenerative braking, and then we also have Sherpa mode, which is kind of like a maximum range mode. Turns off all the climate controls and unnecessary things to get the maximum amount of range. So if you're going on a trip, that's probably the driving mode you want to use. We also have your electronic parking brake and your audio volume right here. Couple more connections down in this kind of open area, USB and USB-C, as well as a 12-volt power outlet and a little bit of storage down there. We have a nice little center console here which you can lift up, and it actually goes in pretty deep, so you can put quite a bit of things down there, and this will also slide back and forth for you to get kind of a comfortable position. Up top we have a full light cloth headliner. We also have these cute little visors with mirrors inside and a couple of switches and things up top. So we have an SOS and assistance button up here. Also, all of your kind of lighting is up here too. And we also have our mirror. Now that pretty much does it for all the features of this very cool Fiat 500e inspired by music. Thank you very much for watching, each and every one of you, and I hope you stick with us here at Tide Drives for more videos just like this one.